Discuss two or more neural mechanisms involved in controlling eating behaviour. Homeostasis is the biological process involving neural mechanisms that detect the state of the environment inside the body and also correct it to restore that environment to its optimal state. The body has evolved two homeostatic mechanisms to regulate food intake, which are both dependent on glucose levels. Hunger increases as glucose levels decrease. This decline activates the lateral hypothalamus, resulting in feelings of hunger. This causes the individual to search for and consume food, causing glucose levels to rise again. There are several different types of neuron located in the hypothalamus that are involved in switching on eating behaviour. One of these is neuropeptide Y, that stimulates appetite. Levels of this neurochemical increase when we are in need of food, which encourages us to eat in order to satisfy our needs. Researchers have found that damage to the lateral hypothalamus causes aphasia, which suggests that this is the part of the brain that switches on eating. Once glucose levels have risen again, the ventromedial hypothalamus is activated, leading to feelings of satiation. Satiety signals are sent from the cells involved in digestion to the hypothalamus. The VMH releases anorexigenic peptides, appetite suppressants, and eating stops. Researchers have been able to identify the VMH as the satiety center in eating behavior, as they have found that damage to the ventromedial hypothalamus caused rats to overeat, therefore showing how this part of the brain plays the part of turning off eating. The selection of food based on memories, images, sights and smells is also controlled by a certain part of the brain. The role of the amygdala is thought to be primarily in the selection of foods based on previous experiences. Rolls and Rolls find that surgically removing the amygdala in rats would cause them to consume both familiar and novel foods. The rats that didn't have their amygdala removed would initially avoid novel foods and only consume familiar foods. This shows how the amygdala in the brain controls the selection of food on the basis of experience. I don't have a revision card for this one, but it is a limitation of the homeostatic explanation is that it is for it to be truly adaptive, it must anticipate and prevent energy deficits rather than just react to them because of the harsh environment of the EEA in which this mechanism would have developed. Evolutionary theorists provide an alternative explanation. People eat foods to promote survival, and this will be foods such as meat, which is high in nutrients, and that was by Milton in 2008. Marie et al. Genetically modified mice to not produce NPY, but they carried on eating. This suggests that injections of NPY may be an experimental artifact. Yang et al. Showed the vicious cycle for NPY. It is produced by abdominal fat, which makes you eat more because it stimulates appetite, which makes you produce more fat, so you develop more NPY. Knowing this could be a possible treatment for obesity. Gold found that damage to the VMH alone did not cause hyperphagia, but damage to the VMH also caused damage to the PVN, and he thinks that damage to the PVN alone caused hyperphagia, but nobody could replicate his results. Damage to the amygdala could explain the feeding abnormalities observed in Kluver-Bucy syndrome. Patients with this syndrome typically show increased appetite, indiscriminate eating, and even attempts to eat non-food items. Research on the effects of damage to these brain areas suggests that food cues no longer accurately represent their real reward value to the individual. Recent research by Lutter et al. 2008 has shown that the body produces extra quantities of the hormone ghrelin in response to stress. This is part of the body's natural defense against stress, as it reduces depressive and anxious behaviors that are typically associated with stressful situations. However, ghrelin also boosts appetite, leading to increased comfort eating. This finding suggests that blocking the body's response to ghrelin may help people with a tendency to comfort eat to control their weight.